public procurement yo mulelanda actually nena yumfuila na kuli imwe.
So vese public procurement devicha.
Sinizio. Be information iliyo onse.
ECDF kuyumfafya ife muno mukabwe mu makululu.
Va free education hapa mwadini. Tima vera chapa free education. But still na meaning ya free education.
Sinizio kabla chizungu chanipita.
To us who are just mere members in the community, it's very difficult for us to understand it because we don't know even the procedures themselves, how they do procure.
Na invera kuli imwe sinizio na public procurement. Njata public procurement.
Public procurement is a complex process, often misunderstood due to the various ways it is practiced. Public procurement refers to the purchase by government and state-owned enterprises of goods, services, and works. Here is an in-depth explanation of public procurement.
Public procurement is where you are procuring things for the public, not for an individual, but for the public, because you are using public funds.
What I know about public procurement is that this is the Act of Parliament, which has been coined by the government of the day to make sure that public funds are actually managed according to what it stipulates.
Zambia Public Procurement Authority is an independent regulatory body or institution, and it was established by an Act of Parliament. Now we have several functions that we do. Among these, we have what we call capacity assessments. Also, we do what we call procurement audits. This is auditing of procurement activities in the public sector, where we audit how they are carrying out procurements and how they are able to award contracts. Public procurement is very important. It accounts for over 60% of the total national budget. What does that mean? For example, in this budget 2024, public procurement will account for an approximate expenditure of 108 billion kwacha for the whole year, for the whole public sector procurement. This is a lot of money. A lot of money and expenditure in the public sector. What it means is that it must be managed well. Public procurement must be conducted within the provisions of the law and the regulations. Also, our suppliers and contractors must be able to meet their contractual obligations. The importance of public procurement in the education sector. Look at the education sector. We are talking about schools. We're talking about providing education services. So in order for these services to be provided, procurement has to be done. There's procurement of desks. You're talking about free education policy. Children need to be seated on desks for all the schools countrywide. So procurement has to buy or procure these school desks.
The ministry has an established procurement committee, and this committee has a mandate to ensure that all procurement procedures and guidelines are adhered to. I must say that it's this committee that approves all procurement activities that are undertaken in the ministry. And so this procurement committee is operating on the guidelines and rules provided by the Zambia Public Procurement Authority. So this committee carries delegated authority from the Zambia Public Procurement Authority. So in so doing, it ensures that the guidelines are followed by procurement staff.
We have a finance committee, and in the finance committee we also have members who are drawn from various sectors, and among the members who join that committee we have a procurement officer. So whatever procurements we have to do, they have to go through tender procedure. After finance committee has sat down to look at the resources that have been given, then we have a tender committee. So the procurement officer does the procurement depending on the threshold. If it's above the head teacher's threshold, which is 10,000 kwacha, we seek consent from the DEB's office. If it's above DEB's authority, we go to PUR's office.
Public procurement can benefit many. Despite the processes aimed at ensuring its success, public procurement still faces significant challenges.
One of the irregularities, of course, is contract management. If you go a few meters away from here, almost is it Kalingalinga, Nyangwenya Road, there's a project under the Ministry of Education. I think this should be hostels, which have been constructed for UNZA or University of Zambia. That project, up to today, it has not been completed. That's poor contract management.
Despite Eurobond money being acquired for various projects such as infrastructure, including the hostels at the University of Zambia, the hostel project still remains lacking.
I'm sure you still remember the famous FTJ University under education sector. Up to today, where is the university FTJ in Wapula? So that is one of the biggest problems, contract management. In managing these contracts in the education sector. Lack of qualified personnel. In the schools, it is the biggest problem. We have so many secondary schools, we have so many primary schools. They have to do procurement or basic buying.
Additionally, a school in Livingston has been abandoned, leaving many children without access to education.
So building enjomubona kusula yangu chatushuka kuti tuimanise akambo kamali akanyonyoka through vahead vesu vakasoleka chenguzu matrash stone I think ningamaakonawa kuti tuverese so chakatushuka simenti yayuma inotulavereka kuti mali yonke tupesi kuti ugwasirize makaplos amaninze kujumu twakavula kamboti mali yakakonda kunyonyoka kuinda munzi namulembawo mpanya vahead teacher so no vantu corruption mumaumi mutupona tutaitori kunembo kambo ijaya zinthu zonse sono vantu atujatiziyanye mukuvereka vantu vali so corruption vajanika mu corruption vede kumwangwa kambo veta lusumpuko ansi takunoti ovoterwa kambo vana vechikolo vali mukustavinga nowadays mulaweza mewamba kuti mwana wede kutarika ku first kuchikolo nayenka ku grade 1 so ivo vali mukupengapenga vana kwedo chino chindi surround yonse kairi clean watu wakacho kuona kuti tarikira.
Not only school projects are being abandoned, but also a school food program meant to benefit many kids has been mismanaged.
Madam Dewe, the acting deputy in primary school. The one who oversees school health and nutrition, in short, overseeing school feeding program. I'm here to reply on the letter we saw from Wenanina through the Healing Bank Foundation, where they stated that they supplied the school with the required food supplies and they have a shop for 15 by 50 kgs of maize. In the actual sense, this cooperative supplied the school on 30th of November 2023. They brought 10 by 10 bags of sap, 15 liters of cooking oil, and 1 bag of cowpeas. But when we looked at the sample they brought, the bags were just too small to be equal to 50 kgs of maize. So we consulted the planner and he told us that if a bag of maize is ground, it should weigh 35 or 36 kgs. So we called the supplier and we had to weigh the bags of sample. After those measurements and weigh, we noticed that the supply that was brought to the school was just 8 by 50 kgs of maize. So even the voucher we signed for her, it was stating that we received 8 bags of maize, 15 liters of cooking oil, and 1 bag of cowpeas. meaning they have a short of 52 bags of maize. Not what they stated saying they have a shortfall of 15. No, as a school we just received 8 from the 6th, meaning they have to supply us the balance as they agreed.
Find that you have either headmasters or boarding masters or probably people from accounts doing basic buying. So the biggest challenge or irregularity is you have personnel who are not procurement professionals doing procurement in most of these.
We haven't done very much. Public procurement requires public information. And I am aware that there are government structures that have been put through decentralization to ensure that there's public awareness, there's public information. And these structures are the WDCs in this case. We have ward development committees that trickle down to zonal committees. But in the recent past, when these questions were asked to the same WDCs and the zonal committees, they were giving excuses, some of them.
Takuba abesa mukulondolola bushe mulefu atubombeshani mulefu atuchiteshani ngaba community we are behind. We are very much behind on that one, actually.
As much as we know that we should be fully involved in these things, but we don't know because we don't have people who are able to come on the ground, in the community, in the ward, in sections, try to educate us about how these procurements are done. We just here to say, no, they have procured armor desks, they have procured this thing, they have procured, but here on the ground, we don't know anything. Even me, as I'm speaking, I don't know how this process is taking place.
In the education sector, I feel we're not providing enough checks and balances as young people.
One of the areas where we have seen a lot of fraud, maybe I can call it fraud, or procurement corruption is indeed in the public procurement sector. And what we have observed from the time we began our operation, one issue that we have observed is the incorporation of companies, okay, by, say, associates of, say, politically exposed persons, people who are occupying strategic positions in government. But the people who are operating those companies are basically associates, or they may be family members. But when it comes to awarding of these contracts, then you find that these politically exposed who influence the awards of these contracts to these companies that they could have incorporated using their relatives or associates. And that's how the abuse is taking place.
In places like Itezitezi and Kawe, effective public procurement has made a difference. There have been notable victories, particularly in the education sector. Let's hear from Emmanuel and Mary as they share their experiences.
The grade 10s, there were about 4 classes for grade 10s.
As the grade 9s, we were very squeezed, like we were not learning freely.
You might be aware that the new Dawn government introduced free education policy, and with the introduction of new education policy, we saw a number of pupils coming to school because they were able now to access education. So because of these pupils that are coming on board, we had shortage of classroom space. Because for information, most of our classrooms, they were not designed to be classrooms. They were just modified to be classes. So even the space is not enough.
Pupils in Kabwe have also faced significant challenges.
The situation wasn't really good because firstly when we came, yes, we were few, but the numbers in our class started increasing. So now we had few desks, and some of the desks were not even stable. So maybe in one desk maybe you can sit maybe 4 learners, and that was a bad, like it wasn't even comfortable. So even just even when some of us were writing tests or the teachers writing notes, it could be very bad because some of us were like, when we were writing tests, we could put our papers on our laps, that's what we could write. So that wasn't really comfortable. And some people, they like copying. So that was really bad and the disadvantage of having field desks.
A lot of people never used to come to school. They used to dodge. Some used to fight for desks. Some of us used to write down, sit down. We never had enough desks. One desk, maybe 4 people would sit there.
Because of the shortage of classroom space, that's why as a school and the PTC, we sat down with the community to ask for CDF to construct a 1x3 classroom block to help us accommodate those pupils that were coming to school.
So like, as for now we have desks, it's easier for us to understand. It's at least we even have some spare ones. It's helping us a lot because no one is dodging, no one is not coming to school because of, at least now we have got a lot of desks that anyone can be comfortable with, anyone can sit, anyone can write with.
The situation now is better. Now that they've brought us these classrooms, we can now learn more like at the same time.
I like it because I want to achieve my goals, to help my family, to like when I finish school, I want to do a job that can, or a career that can make me to help my family.
Well, just to say we are grateful as institutions of learning.
Public procurement is a good thing because it benefits the public. It benefits the public. As you can see, we have benefited as a school, not only as a school, but as a community. We have benefited from this project that was given to us under CDF 2023.
Information should be enhanced so that the community is made aware to the grassroots, so that decisions are made, needs assessments are made by the communities themselves, and all the way to the end product. The community should have the information so that at the end of the day, the community can be able to appreciate what government is doing.
So in effort nga chitali recommend government kuisa yaisa yalondolola ku community bushe mwebekala chalo nangu mweba kuno kumakululu mulefu atubombele poshani fishi fye mulefu atumuchitile nga chako bati government ile bomba muri yo musango umuntu wonse kuchako ate okusenda molubali.
Just on the Procurement Act, I feel the Procurement Act is an act that is not really given a lot of attention by civil society organizations and also by young people. So if we, the young people in civil society organizations, actually took some time, on the part of CSOs, if they can actually break it down to the layman's language, to a level whereby even the person that is in Makululu can actually have an understanding of it and extend it to the people on the ground and just make them understand what it actually talks about and how best they can hold someone accountable who's in a public office, it can be better. Then for young people that have actually a chance, or maybe they have the ability to read and understand what is in the Procurement Act, probably they should actually start maybe something online where they can help other young people, maybe through memes and other programs, songs, so that it can be more like a trend on social media.
My appeal to you people who seem to have the know-how, the knowledge, or you people who are able to speak on behalf of us, please, once in a while, why can't you call these people? You call the area councillors, you call the MPs, you call the mayor, so that they can be coming under on the ward level. At least once in a while, they call a public meeting where us people who don't know anything, we are able to be explained with these procedures, so that we should also be part and parcel.
I feel that there is need for the professionals to uphold the highest level of integrity. And this is where you see that institutions that regulate, for instance, accounting firms or audit firms, if you find that an accounting firm or audit firm has falsified documents, okay, to enable a certain company to get this contract, and you are aware. I think these are institutions that should be, punished. And when we are talking about punished, we are talking about the sanctions have to be dissuasive. Yeah? The sanctions have to be, proportionate, and the sanctions have to be effective. And even those companies that are found wanting when it comes to public procurement, I think we need to come up with very, very dissuasive sanctions that have to be there to completely ban them from participating in future public procurement projects. We are encouraging the involvement of third parties. So no procuring entity should just do procurement without involving third parties. And third parties like ourselves come in to offer that oversight and to cross-check what we are doing. So it's good for transparency, it's good for accountability when you are being checked by other people. So we are steering that, and PEs should ensure that that is done. Then also, I talked about declaration of interest. We should make sure that every time when we have meetings where decisions are being made, we encourage the declaration of interest. Everybody should declare interest. If you are an interested party in the decision to be made, you are encouraged to recuse yourself so that we don't make biased decisions, so that we don't start seeing tenders inflated, because people who are negotiating are actually the owners of the companies that are about to be awarded the contracts.
But also what is very, very important is the issue of unqualified procurement or teachers doing the buying. This is a serious issue. There's need either to train the teachers that are actually doing the buying in the schools, or government employs trained procurement officers or staff to do procurement in the schools. But I know that it can be a very expensive venture, but it's something that essentially has to be done, okay, at one time or the other. So we need to address the issues of unqualified staff conducting procurement in the schools.
A word of encouragement to the government institutions. We're all here to serve and to serve the general public. So can we find better ways of enhanced collaboration, working together? When you look at issues of public procurement, obviously it's not just ZPPA and CCPC in terms of regulators that regulate issues of public procurement. ZPPA could be the main regulator by virtue of the mandate that they have, but then there are other government agencies that come on board. Anti-Corruption Commission, sometimes things can be stretched to even money laundering, so we can have the DES on board. So ours is to find the ways government entities to find enhanced ways of collaborating.
A well-coordinated public procurement system is essential for the development of a nation. However, in Zambia's context, sharing more information about the processes would improve and strengthen accountability. Furthermore, bringing to book all those found wanting would improve compliance. Lastly, despite the complexity of public procurement, if implemented well, many can reap the benefits of the process.